What's up, guys? Yes, we are watching another video from the YouTube channel called Storytime Animated. Sorry, I had to burp. Ew. Her links are down below. Go check her out. And while you're at it, please subscribe and follow me on Instagram. Links are all down below as well. And please like and share the video. But this video that we are about to watch is called Mom Forced Me to Become a Parent at Age 13. That is not cool, but sounds spicy. So comment below something dumb you did as a teenager and let's go.
Hi, my name is Alexis, and when I was 13, my mom forced me to become a parent. You probably think I'm lying, but it's the truth. Growing up, I remember having a pretty normal life. I went to school, hung out with my friends, did homework, all the usual stuff. But then, when I had turned 12, my whole world came crashing down. My parents were getting a divorce.
Aww.
I first found out that they were splitting up by accident. It was around midnight and I was really thirsty, so I headed downstairs to get a drink. And when I heard my parents arguing in the living room, I can't take it anymore. We're through. We need to get a divorce.
Ooh.
I heard my mom say, "Honey, please think about Alexis." Dad replied, "She can't have divorced parents." "Well, I can't live with someone who has cheated on me," snapped Mom. That's when I entered the room and they realized I had been listening the whole time.
Getting spicy.
They immediately tried to comfort me, but I started crying because A, I didn't want my parents to split up, and B, I was so confused as to what was going on. Later, as I got older, I realized that my dad had cheated on my mom with some other woman, and that was why they were getting a divorce. Dad had moved out of the house and I could only spend time with him on the weekends. I lived with my mom most of the time too. I found this change so weird. For starters, no one wants their parents to get divorced, but mine were. And secondly, I felt ashamed of my dad for cheating on my mom. But things got even worse when I had to meet with Dad's new girlfriend.
Ugh.
I was over at my dad's place for the weekend and I sat in the living room of his apartment while he got dinner ready. The doorbell rang suddenly. "Who's that?" I asked. Dad looked nervous and he quickly washed his hands.
It's
then
his
went
new
to answer
pretty
the door.
thing.
I was focused on the TV, so I didn't see who it was that came in. But when I heard footsteps behind me, I turned and gasped. She looked like a model. The woman, a young woman, I could guess she was about 20 years old or something, had on a nice dress and her blonde hair was tied up in a bun. She looked gorgeous, like Angelina Jolie level gorgeous.
Angelina Jolie, pretty good
She
looking.
was here in my dad's apartment, and why Dad had his arm around her shoulders. "Dad, who is this?" I asked in confusion. "Alexis, this is..." Dad cleared his throat. "This is Maddie." "Hi, Maddie," I said, smiling. "Oh, Dad, is she my new babysitter?" I asked. Dad cleared his throat uncomfortably. No, she's my girlfriend, actually." My
Dude, she
jaw
young.
dropped. "Your girlfriend?" I yelled in surprise. "Yes," he said. "How old are you?" I asked rudely to Maddie, but I couldn't help it. I was so surprised. I seriously thought my dad had hired her as my babysitter or something. Maddie looked young enough to be my sister.
Dang.
I'm 24, replied Maddie.
I mean, how old is
"But
your
that
dad?
doesn't matter. I'm just so happy to meet you, Alexis. Your dad has said such wonderful things about you." "Wait, Dad?" I started to realize something. "Is this the woman you cheated on Mom with?"
Yep.
Maddie's face fell and she
I'd feel
looked
awkward
at Dad
too.
awkwardly. Alexis, why don't you chat to Maddie for a while?" said Dad. "I'll make us some dinner. We're having tacos tonight, your favorite." He hurried into the kitchen while
Awesome
Maddie and I
tacos.
looked at each other uncomfortably. Maddie sat down beside me and tried to make small talk, but
I
I
wouldn't
just
talk to
felt
her.
really bad.
Ew.
Like I was betraying my mom or something. So I didn't make much conversation. The rest of the evening was terrible. Dad tried to act like nothing was wrong, whereas I felt so uncomfortable the whole time. Maddie tried her best, but I just found her so annoying and boring. Even though she was drop-dead gorgeous, she didn't have anything interesting to say. And I had the feeling she was partly with my dad because of his money, since he is quite rich.
Probably.
When I
She a
got
gold
back
digger.
to Mom's house the next day, I told her all about it. Mom's face was blank when I told her about my crazy weekend with Dad and his new girlfriend, but I could tell she was on edge. "Well, I'm glad he's not on his own," said Mom. I don't know how he's gonna look after himself otherwise. You know how your father is. He'd forget his head if it wasn't attached to his body. I nodded. I guess that was one positive of Dad's new girlfriend, but I had a suspicion that this was the woman Dad had cheated on Mom with, and so of course I wasn't going to like her that much. For a few more months, things kind of continued like that. I would spend time with Dad on the weekends, and Maddie would always be there. I think at some point she had moved in with my dad. And I also noticed that Maddie seemed to be growing fatter. Each week, I would notice her belly kept growing and growing. I didn't say anything, though, because I knew that would be rude. But then, one evening, I was in my room at Dad's place when Dad knocked on the door and asked to come in. He soon entered with Maddie next to him. I noticed that Maddie's stomach was even bigger this time.
She's about to pop.
Hi, Dad, I said. Hey, Alexis, Dad replied. There's something we need to tell you. What is it? I asked. Well, Dad looked at me, then at Maddie, then back to me. Maddie's pregnant, he said nervously. I froze. Then it hit me like a truck. Maddie wasn't getting fatter. She was pregnant. Pregnant?
She's like, girl, you need to chill on them bread rolls from Cheesecake.
Joy. You're gonna have a little brother, Maddie said, also nervously. Brother, I said. I was so shocked. I felt like a parrot just repeating things that I was hearing. I'm pretty sure I stayed silent after that for about 5 whole minutes. Then, eventually, I remembered my manners and managed to say my congratulations, although pretty weakly. When I returned home, I told Mom about the news, and she didn't seem surprised. I guess Dad must have told her before he told me. Pretty soon, Maddie's due date came up, and then Mom got a call that Maddie had given birth. Mom and I were going to visit Maddie and Dad at the hospital and see the new baby. I thought it was weird that Mom was coming to see the child of her ex-husband and his new girlfriend, but I guess she was just too nice to refuse Dad's request. When we got there, I was surprised to see that Maddie didn't even seem interested in the baby at all. She kept muttering stuff like, I'm too tired to hold him, and
Dang.
I didn't even want a child. Once,
Girl.
I swear I heard Maddie say, he's so ugly. Though maybe that was me.
I mean, there are some ugly babies.
Dad looked so stressed out. But when Mom got there, he seemed to calm down a bit. Mom and I came home. But then we got a panicked call from Dad. Mom put the phone on speaker and we listened to his panicked speech. Maddie has run away. He cried. What do you mean? I asked in shock.
Dang, that sucks.
She said she can't handle the pressure, and so she took off, said Dad. She left to who knows where, and I don't know if she's serious, but I'm here alone at home with a day-old baby, and I don't know what to do. Mom and I
You're a
looked at
grown
each
man
other
who has had a
seriously.
kid.
This was bad
Figure it
news.
out.
Dad couldn't look after a baby on his own. I'll call you
Yes,
back,
he can.
said Mom, and she hung up the phone. Then she turned to me. Alexis, you need to help your father. You need to look after that child.
No, I don't.
What? No way.
That's not my
I
kid.
immediately replied, he's your brother. But no buts, young lady. You're looking after that child. But Mom.
She's
Come
13.
on, I'll drop you off there now. She grabbed me and hauled me to the car.
That's so
then drove off to
ridiculous.
Dad's apartment. I stayed silent the whole time. I was 13 years old, and yet my mom was forcing me to become a parent.
Seriously.
Why would she make me do this? Eventually, I started crying and begged my mom to reconsider. And that's when she explained her reasoning. Even though your father and I are separated, I still care for him.
Then you
And he
do
needs
it.
help. You need to help him, Alexis.
This ain't my problem. I don't need to do nothing.
Because, well, it's not my child. It's the child of my ex with the woman he cheated on me with.
You
But
need to move
can
on.
Help him, Alexis. Please, just do this for me. It won't have to be for long. Just a few months until your dad gets the
A
hang
few
of it.
months? No.
A few months? I said in outrage. Alexis, he's your little brother. Come on, sweetie, do this for me. I sighed.
A baby
And then I
he had
nodded.
with his
I
mistress.
guess
No,
Mom
thank
might be
you.
right, but that still didn't mean I wanted to do this any less. What 13-year-old would want to look after a baby? We arrived at Dad's place, and that's when my days as a parent began. I would help change the baby's diapers and play with it. I would take it out on strolls outside through the park. The baby hadn't been named yet, but Dad said he wanted to name him Alex, after me. I agreed, And so for many weeks, I found myself spending a lot of time with Alex. I actually discovered that I liked being a parent. Alex was really cute, and he could really make me laugh with his funny faces and giggles. The only thing was, people started to get suspicious whenever they saw me with Alex in the stroller. They found it strange that a 13-year-old was walking a baby.
Why?
And
You look
I
like a
guess for good
babysitter.
reason. And so to avoid
I started
their stares
babysitting at
and
like
suspicious
13-ish.
looks, I dressed up in clothes and shoes that made me look older than I really was. I
Girl,
wore sunglasses,
why?
wrapped a scarf around my face, wore heels, and put tissues into my chest to make it look like I was more mature. Once I did that, I didn't get any of those suspicious glares anymore, which was a relief. I was starting to fear someone would call the police on me. Meanwhile, Dad wasn't handling it too well. He kept in his room most of the time.
He's literally
and whenever
forcing
he
her to care
emerged
for
from
this
the
child
darkness, he looked a
by
lot
herself.
like a zombie.
It's
I
his
tried
kid.
to cheer him up, but I think he just felt down in the dumps. For some time, life continued like this. I looked after Alex, Dad stayed in his room, and Mom kept treating me to nice stuff because I guess she was proud of me for looking after Alex. One time, she took me on a trip to the spa when we got a sudden call from Dad that Alex was missing. We immediately rushed to his apartment.
Mama took him.
But as it turned out, Alex wasn't missing. Dad had forgotten that Alex was at a daycare right now. Mom and I were so annoyed with Dad, especially me. I told him he needed to pay more attention to his son. But then something happened that none of us saw coming. Something that changed the course of my life forever. I was at Dad's place with Alex on the couch. I was playing with him and we were drawing using color
Aw.
pencils. When a knock
They'd be
came
kinda
on the
scary,
door,
though.
Dad answered it and asked who it was. And then I heard a voice reply, a man's voice, and it said, "I'm here to get my son." What?
What?
Dad asked in confusion. Suddenly, the other man appeared, and he stared at me and Alex. I stared back at him, and I grabbed Alex and held him to me before the man could do anything. "That's my son," the man said again. I
Yo,
was
girl
confused.
cheated on you.
Was this guy crazy or
How's
something?
it feel?
"No, that's my son," said Dad. He stood between me and Alex and the strange man. "Who are you?" I asked the man. "I'm Maddie's ex-husband," he said. "That baby is mine." "Alex is my son, you lunatic!" exclaimed Dad. "Oh, really? Are you willing to do a DNA test to prove it?" the stranger taunted. Dad lifted his chin. "Of course I'm willing. I have nothing to fear." Next thing I knew, we were at the clinic getting the DNA test. This all had happened so fast. I was still trying to keep up with this sudden turn of events. Maddie had an ex-husband? I felt like a fly caught in a spider's web. There were so many strings and relationships and exes that I was starting to get confused. Together, we all waited for the test that would determine whose child Alex was. It seemed to take eons, but was probably just a couple of hours. Eventually, the nurse appeared with an envelope of the results. "Are you ready?"
It's
the
a good-looking
asked.
nurse.
We nodded, and he read out the results. "Alex is your child." The nurse pointed towards the stranger.
Dang.
Not Dad.
Called
and
it.
The stranger jumped up in joy. "I told you," the man teased. "That
Calm
baby
down.
is mine." Does that mean Maddie cheated on me?
Yeah, how's it
Mumbled
feel
Dad.
to get a taste of your own
Meanwhile, I
medicine?
clutched Alex, who was sleeping in my arms. I didn't want to say goodbye to Alex. I would
Aw.
miss him too much. I was contemplating running away before this strange man could take Alex from me when suddenly Mom arrived at the clinic too. We had called her beforehand, but she was late because she had to work. When she arrived and found us, she froze in her tracks. The stranger too, apparently Alex's real father, also froze. "Lucy?" he said in disbelief. "Darling, what are you doing here?"
Are you serious?
asked Mom. "Lucy?" I said. "Darling, what's going on here?" Mom glanced at me and her face reddened. "Well, Alex, please meet my boyfriend, Tyler." "Your boyfriend?"
All y'all dating
My heart
each other,
couldn't take this many
seriously.
sudden realizations. "Lucy, this is your daughter?" cried out Tyler. Then he looked at my father. "This is your ex-husband."
Hey, at
Mom
least you get to
nodded.
keep the kid,
We all
kinda.
stood there, all frozen like statues, as this information sunk in. I was struggling to comprehend all of this, and I wondered, was Alex still my brother since he was my mom's boyfriend's son?
No, because it's the son of the mistress and her ex-husband. You're not related to him at all. It's a little confusing though. Anyways, that's it for the story time animation today. That was interesting. It's a lot to take on as a 13-year-old. Crazy. Again, please subscribe, follow me on Instagram, links are all down below, and please like and share the video, blah. And that's it. Hope you liked it, and I will see you weird people next time.